Hello, this is your host Akhil Navluri, and welcome to the brand new episode of the Techospace podcast series. In this podcast episode, I'm super thrilled and honored to be welcoming and collaborating with one of the most eminent and prominent industry leaders of the IT space, Mr. Luis Allegretti, who happens to be the senior manager information technology for the company, the Learning Enrichment Foundation, and in the coming Monday, he's moving to a new company called Choice Properties, and he's based out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So, Louis, it gives me an absolute pleasure to welcome you to this podcast episode of mine. So, Louis, how are you, and how is the pre-Christmas time in Toronto at the moment?
Hey, Akil, thank you for the invite. Glad to be here. It's actually a privilege to be telling a little bit of my story and sharing a little bit with you. So far, honestly, here things are looking pretty good for what we call a white Christmas. Think the
Okay.
preconditions are there. It's getting cold, it's getting windy, and we're getting some snow. So all the
Oh
ingredients
God.
are there. So things are looking pretty good for a good Christmas time.
That's fantastic. That's a pretty good thing. I mean, I would also love to, visit Toronto someday, but probably in the Christmas time. But I mean, do you think it's the right time to visit Toronto? For the
Uh,
listeners.
well, to be quite honest, I will suggest my friend to come around fall.
Okay.
It's better weather and better for traffic for everything. Because
Okay.
summertime is construction time around Toronto area, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's a big mess. So it's better
Okay.
to avoid it. Fall is beautiful here. The colors of the trees, everything is really nice, and the weather is super nice, very template. So I will strongly suggest fall.
That's fantastic. Then I think you have given me a beautiful travel trip. So yes, I will, keep my options open for that very soon in the future. So without any further ado, let's kick off with our podcast session. All right. So Louis, let's talk about the timeline of your journey in the IT industry.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So my journey on reflection in IT has been a blend of always seeking technical challenge and technical growth and a leadership evolution. I consider myself an unfinished unfinished project. Um, I started my career as a field technician for compact computer. You know those when they send a technician out on the field to service the computers. At the beginning was consumer type of the workstations at the businesses, the different organizations, and then that grew into servicing servers and very specialized type of servers, replacing a disk array controller and that kind of stuff. Eventually, that led the path to a surprisingly long career in the telecom sector, in the telecommunications. And I learned a
Okay.
lot, to be quite honest, in that sector, the reliability, scale, and
Okay.
over time, I got to travel, honestly, and to work with in different parts of the world, Africa, Europe, India itself, and throughout the Americas, Central, North America, and South America, uh, and also coordinating global teams essentially. Uh, has been a really good career, and that's why I say, I mean, it was a surprisingly long. I never meant to actually delve into that particular sector, but they were attracting a lot of talent, and it's always building that challenging aspect, right? That it drives you to learn new things and to do new things, and it also led me to work in very complex projects. For example, integrating the first mobile payment here in Canada. I was involved in that project. Integrating a credit card into a phone at a time when that wasn't a thing. Today is something that we all take for
Yes,
granted, right?
exactly. Yep.
Um, and right now, I firmly move into what it is enterprise IT service delivery and operations. And quite frankly, my career, I always try that each role builds on the next one, and from hands-on to technical strategy, there is always, and that's why I say, I mean, I consider myself a work in progress type of person, always trying to improve something, whether that's technical or leadership aspect. I always try to see something that that is going to maintain me excited, and I'm quite excited to what's coming next, always, and particularly in technology.
That's fantastic, Louis. Now you had a huge plethora of experience, when I just look at your timeline. Now, having said that, you just came across one particular point saying Central America. So how was the technological scene like that in the Central America?
Well, that's one of the beauty of working in the telecommunications sector. Uh, we were implementing systems in Central America, and it's very similar, to tell you the truth, to what we were doing here in North America or in Europe. Actually, this was coming based out of Europe. They were very tech savvy,
Okay.
the people that I work with, and we were implementing the very same type of systems that were being implemented in Europe at the time, and in the North American market.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. That's good to know. Now, so when we talk about the Central American region, like which countries were they comprised of, and which countries did you get a chance to work for when it came to the telecommunication sector?
Yeah, sure. Went to El Salvador, went to Mexico, um, and there were some other uh, clients that were based out of Honduras and Panama. I didn't get to travel to those, but we were working very closely with them, and also the Caribbean region in general. But I didn't get to.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to the Caribbean, but just for vacation, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But travel,
Yeah.
the travel, I tried to travel for vacation to the Caribbean, but work we also had some clients, because a lot of tourism attracts a lot of investment as well on the
Yep.
network side of things from a telecommunication side.
So that's pretty much fantastic. So, Luis, can you give me an overview of your roles and responsibilities of being the senior manager, information technology for your company, the Learning Enrichment Foundation company, and how was it like, and what were the learnings being part of it?
Yeah. Uh, so I'm gonna refer this as my previous role, because I'm actually transitioning to
Yes, 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 absolutely.
to a new company. So pardon if I refer as the past, but
Yep.
it started on Monday. I'm gonna be elsewhere. Very happy to actually have this transition. But in my previous role as a senior manager of IT, I was responsible for overseeing the service delivery and IT operations. We're a very small but mighty IT team. The focus
Okay.
was on driving the IT operations of the organization, and also changing a little bit the culture on how the organization sees IT, and creating a culture of IT as a service,
Okay.
not only a support function. That the printer is broken kind of thing, but also to enable the organization to provide faster services to the community. This organization is a non-profit organization, very beloved
Mhm.
organization in the community. So it's really important. So work very closely with the stakeholders to align some initiatives involving technology and how we could automate certain processes to make it easier and faster for the organization to deliver those services to the community. Um, Also established IT policies, ensuring compliance, implementing multiple factor authentication, and implementing security, cybersecurity, so the organization could meet the increasing standards that needs to met in order to be granted some service contracts.
Fantastic, Louis. Now, when we talk about the IT policies, what do you exactly infer by that?
So the IT policies were related essentially to everything, quite frankly, from workstation utilization, acceptable internet utilization, cybersecurity standards, uh, configuration standards for the network firewalls, the vendors management, and procurement, how things are going to be procured and so and such. So it was it is a very comprehensive document, and it was a very large effort, to be quite frank,
Okay.
to actually establish that policy.
That's amazing, Louis. Now, Louis, I was pretty much, impressed by this fact that, the initiative that you just started. So, I mean, reading out your initiative and let's say, if I want to get more idea on that, I wanted to understand, like, what were the key initiatives that were taken by you, in migrating, the on-premises to Microsoft 365, thereby enhancing the collaboration and security and leading the vendor negotiation, and having said that, cutting the software licenses by 60%. I mean, that's a huge rise. So what went by that?
Yeah. So that was you nailed it on the head there, Nikhil. That was one of the most impactful initiatives uh, that we had at LEF, the Learning Enrichment Foundation. Um,
Mhm.
was the migration of on-premises services to Microsoft 365 once in the cloud. We started using Microsoft Power Platform, uh, and kind of like a serverless technologies and AI and automation uh, to execute better organizational workflows. Now, that was not only a technical project, that is also a bit of a cultural shift in the organization, because it implied changing the way things are done. But the benefit is that everything is done in less amount of time.
Yeah.
Uh, we essentially enhancing the collaboration and the communication with the community.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we have to have in mind who are we doing this for, right? It's the community, and we enable that. We enable cloud-based communication across teams. Implemented a cloud-based AI-enabled service desk, um, and you mentioned the 60% savings on software licenses. Essentially, we started to manage our own licenses. They were all scattered, and essentially it started
Yeah.
to have a centralized point of management and reduce the cost of the total cost of having those licenses. And that sometimes meant that, okay, if the license is not necessary, is it a good idea to have those licenses? So we need to cut that cost. Do you really need a type of license? Maybe this other type of license is that it costs actually a lot less. We can get to instead of a Microsoft standard license to an online license, can also do the job. That kind of thing, and centralizing, as I say, and cutting the additional licenses. Uh, it is what led to that 60% reduction overall. And also what we were able to negotiate with this, because it not only included licenses, but also hardware, the procurement of new hardware. We were
Okay.
able to secure training for staff, right? Because it's fundamental also to include training It's not just about acquiring new technology, it's also acquiring well, the knowledge to take the best use of that equipment or software that one is acquiring, right? And
Okay.
all that was done balancing the technical requirements with business realities and ultimately, well, freeing budget for innovation rather than just maintenance.
That's amazing, Luis. Now, Luis, there, I mean, people who are listening to this podcast, some of them might be from the younger generation. So for the younger generation, some people may not catch the term of the on-premises. They're very much familiar of the fact of the cloud and all of that. So when you were working on the on-premises, do you think it was a challenge of, working on the applications or, let's say with respect to the software development? Or do you feel, those old days were better as compared to the cloud days?
I think, yeah, uh, I think that there is a lot of portability of skills, to be quite honest. Um, there are certain aspects of dealing with on-prem equipment that are rather unique. You do need to know the hardware aspects. For instance, you need to have the server room at a certain temperature, otherwise the things are going to overheat rather quickly.
Yep.
And if the AC doesn't work, well, you're just going to start seeing some failures in the equipment, such as network switches with
Oh my God.
ports
Yeah.
and so on. I had that actually happen here at LEF, where the AC unit wasn't working, and we had problems. Um, but we have to fix. So there are certain skills, and I think that it is always healthy to maintain that knowledge. I think that we are moving towards a place where hybrid is the new normal. So
Yes.
some
Yeah.
on-prem, some in the cloud, and and it remains to be seen how things are going to look when quantum computer becomes a mainstream aspect, not just on a university lab,
Yes.
which kind of it is today. But mind you, that was the case with AI, right? A few years ago,
Mhm.
it was a thing on university campus. Now it's mainstream. Uh, Quantum computer will get there. It remains to be seen when, but the uh, I think that we need to accept that it is a hybrid. Some knowledge in hardware is required, and having, for example, how to maintain networking equipment, UPSs, power supplies, and so on, that kind of thing. I will say that is kind of common knowledge for somebody starting in the field and trying to have a career in the IT industry.
They were very much difficult days, I would say. But I would just say that, each one has its own, disadvantages and advantages. So that's the beauty of IT, as I feel when I
Yeah,
hear your.
exactly. Absolutely correct. Yeah. I mean, oh, yeah, I love this industry. Yes, because the same thing that we were preaching, I don't know, 3 years ago, today we're saying, yeah, that forget about that. Now we know better.
That's absolutely right. That's a pretty much good insight on it, Luis. Now, Luis, earlier I just asked you like, how was it working for the Central American technology, and you just gave me the the hindsight with respect to it in the telecommunication sector. Now I'm going to ask you a complete picture of it. So, what is it like being an IT professional in the telecommunication sector?
Oh, yeah. I think that I owe a lot to the telecom industry. Because of it, I've been able to travel and to work with a lot of really smarter people than me, and brilliant people, and fundamentally good people. Um, and as an IT professional, I can tell you that the telecom taught me everything that I know about resiliency, about uptime and scale.
Okay.
How do you scale? Today we take for granted that services are going to be online always or all the time, and I learned how to architect that. Okay, because how do you scale that up? And the telecom industry runs on uptime essentially, right? Every second of
Mhm.
downtime impact millions of customers, and every time that the internet blinks now, you have a huge impact, right?
Yeah.
So I learned that uh, through the telecom industry and how to prepare for those, how to manage those large scale infrastructure projects, coordinating with global teams, and really delivering under pressure. And
Okay.
that experiences shape my approach to IT leadership, always designing for reliability, scalability, and also fundamentally always working with trust in mind. We need to build that trust, right?
Yeah. That's pretty much insightful on that, Louis. Now, Louis, when it comes to the telecommunication sector, I'm always curious to know this. Like, was there any instances where you have created an application, pertaining to the telecommunication side? Like, was it any software application, or what was it like, that you were part of in the projects?
Right, right. So I was working on primarily the SMSC, the application that provides texting ability. When you
Oh,
text from a mobile phone to another mobile phone, I work with the company that created that application, that first introduced that application. Working in that company for quite a while, and then another company that provided the services is called over-the-air application, OTA, that it can program or provision your phone and your subscription, well, as the name implies, over the air, right? You turn it on, and a set of commands are going to be sent to your mobile phone. And
okay.
well, those are back office applications to the telecom business world, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you were just talking about, text messages. I would say, without text messages, without WhatsApp, I don't think the world would run. What do you think, Louis?
Exactly. But I mean, we can argue that it hasn't done much of a favor in terms of communication, but it is something that it really facilitated the communication, right? Making it seamless to send a text message, whether you are. It doesn't really matter where in the world you are, right? You
Yeah.
can send a text message, and WhatsApp builds on top of that, adding video, voice messages, and so on, right?
Text messages is a medium where, people are communicating virtually, and I mean, prompt is like a medium between the person communicating with AI. That's the
Exactly,
key differentiating this one.
exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So I feel, text messages has given a birth to a new thing called prompts. And prompts is, going like sky high now. Everywhere, everyone is talking about prompt engineering and all that. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, the first prompt was a phone.
exactly. That's right. That's how the future generation will remember. Prompt came from a thing called text messaging, and everything it's like a cycle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
That's amazing. So now, Louis, like, what is your take on the importance of, the business community and the the security collaboration in the Canadian IT industry?
Yeah. So as we were discussing earlier, a lot of organizations are primarily hybrid in Canada. The business there is on-prem and there is in the cloud. Uh,
Okay.
but there are some organizations that are priming going cloud first strategy to be. I've seen that that's happening also. Um, but the most normal thing is it's kind of hybrid. Now, the the thing is, business continuity and cloud security are non-negotiable today.
Yeah.
You gotta have it. For one end, the business continuity, whether that is failing over to a different site if you have cloud or on-prem, that needs to be in place, and cybersecurity or cloud security, uh, protecting the sensitive data, right, uh, of the organization, of your client. We have in Canada, we have had a regulatory environment that it's kind of lag behind others,
Mhm.
to be quite frank, but it's catching up. It's increasing the effectiveness of how much an organization is responsible for protecting the cyber identity of one of their clients, of the data of their clients, right? And with that comes the requirements of upping up the defenses, right? To protect that data. So that is actually happening right now.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
there is an increased value to the privacy and essentially the governments and the legislation to drive up compliance. Um, Together, to me, if you ask me, and I'm gonna keep making this a theme, those are the backbones of the trust in the digital economy, on the digital world. Uh, and without trust, the innovation, technology adoptions will kind of stall.
Yep.
Um, and for me, it's about embedding resiliency and
Mhm.
cybersecurity into every IT decision. We simply have no choice. It's the reality of the day.
That's amazing, Luis. Now, Luis, when you told about that cloud security came into the Canadian industry, like which year was that in, and what was the first cloud platform that Canada was adopting?
So I'm gonna say that the year would have been around uh, 2014, 2015. And like many other places, we have AWS, Amazon Web Services.
Mhm.
It was very, well, still is very big. Nowadays, in Canada in particular, is more Azure, it's more Microsoft
Microsoft Azure.
365.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that they have about 60% of the market today.
Oh, wow.
Microsoft, yeah, they're the biggest, and second is AWS, and third is Google Cloud, but with a less than 10%
That's really, yeah.
of adoption. Yeah. But the beginning was AWS, and again, I mean, it was on the 2014, 2015 time frame.
Going by the statistics of the market share of the cloud adoption in Canada, why do you think people are very much into the Microsoft Azure? Is it because of the the user friendliness, or like what is the specific reason for the Canadian market there?
I think that there could be a combination of reasons. Quite frankly, one of them is that Microsoft has a couple of data centers, big data centers here in Canada. So if the government requires, for instance, that the data cannot leave Canada, well, that makes a strong case.
Yes, yes, yeah.
You have the data, and you can also file over between two Canadian regions per se, right? Amazon also has, by the way, but um, I guess they haven't been as good as marketing as Microsoft has their services. But a lot, Google, I don't know actually if they have any data centers, Google-owned data centers here in
Mhm.
Canada. I believe they may have just the one. I believe that the big driver is well, the Canadian government uses it, and other organizations need to be compliant as well. So
Okay. That completely, sums up the point. Now we'll go a little bit back in time. So would you like to, shed some spotlight into being the, the technical editor for Coriolis and, the New Riders, publications? And having said that, like, what was your source of inspiration and drive to pursue into that space?
Yeah, that's uh, thank you. That question is wonderful. That was a unique period, quite frankly, and a unique chapter in my career. Um, it really allowed me to, contribute to the community, to the IT community, and I'm referring this regardless of where everyone is sitting in the world. We are one community. Uh,
Yes.
and shaping content that help professionals learn and grow. And really, my inspiration came from a love of continuous learning and a desire to give back to this wonderful community. I always believe that knowledge needs to be shared, needs to be spread, and I always say the knowledge is like butter; it needs to be spread. And
Hmm. Right. Yeah.
finding that contributing this as a technical editor was my way of ensuring uh, that certain complex knowledge and ideas were communicated clearly and effectively. I really loved that period of time, but I was busy boy.
Awesome. So as far as I've, just known about this, this tenure of yours, being the technical editor, it was probably in the year 2001. So how did you first get to know about this opportunity? Was it, through a newspaper article? Was it through some billboard? Was it, through some, let's say, some reference by your friend? How did you, land up there?
Yeah, so actually, an a technical acquisition manager reached out to me because at the time I had well, many certifications, Microsoft and some other
Mhm.
industry certifications, and I don't really know exactly how they got a hold of my name, and they reached out to me say and ask if I would be interested in authoring or technical being a technical editor of these books. And well, I agree. I did also author some chapters on one book. I could never get around of publishing one full book because a lack of time. But yeah, essentially that's how it started, and eventually that what I was keep getting calls and calls,
And then I can say the rest was history, right?
and the rest, yeah, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant, Louis. Now, I'm pretty keen to ask you, Louis, like, is there any success story or interesting anecdote that you've experienced in your entire IT journey that you would like to share with our listeners in this podcast session?
Yeah. So there are so many, but one success story that really stands out was during my tenure on the telecom sector, the deployment of a brand new SMSC, that
Yeah, yeah.
telecom server application that provides the texting ability. This was for a project in Vietnam. The customer was in Hanoi. Um,
Okay,
that was at first, the business leaders were really skeptical of the tight timelines, the risk, and the cost.
okay.
And I'm talking about some 20 plus years, 21, 22 years ago.
Oh,
We
okay,
were just beginning to explore complex automations, right, on the systems. There was no chief, Puppet, or Ansible to, orchestrate the workflows and to stream that. Um, but we've been steadily improving the rollout of these telecom back office applications through some clever scripting. Um, and essentially, we work it by building trust, transparent communication, setting expectations, and meeting those expectations, providing frequent updates, quick wins, if you will. We turned that skepticism into genuine advocacy. The business leaders were really cheering us on to make this project happen. Uh,
okay.
at one point, the engineer on site in Hanoi needed my remote support. She was stuck. It got to a point that she was describing what was happening, but I couldn't understand it myself. So I said, well, I just need to log in and see it. The problem or the situation was that the only connection the customer provided to the outside world was a dial-up modem. Even back then, I mean, a dial-up modem, no VPN connection, no internet connection to anything, dial-up modem. Um, that was, and I was sitting here in Canada, right? And that wasn't, I tried, but the modem wasn't, the connection wasn't being established, right? It was not possible. So what we ended up doing is we improvised. We used a precursor to today Microsoft Teams. It was a program called Microsoft Net Meeting.
Mhm.
Connected with the on-site engineer. I took remote control of her laptop, and from there, I dialed into the system that needed attention and fixed whatever needed fixing there. In the end, the project not only was a success, but became a model for future initiatives. You see, that project will normally take, back then, would have taken 6 to 8 weeks to complete. We completed in less than 2 weeks, including
Oh,
the end customer and client acceptance, right? So the massive amount of time that we save, revenue recognition, and that they could start using the system and deployment. So you can see all the advantages. So that become a
okay.
model on how we, not using Microsoft Net Meeting, by the way. That's just a funny thing that we had to end up doing there. But the way we deploy with the clever scripting and automation. Another
Okay.
story really is from my volunteering work with Tennis Canada.
Mhm.
I work there leading teams of volunteers, and that has taught me many lessons in leadership that I carry into my work every day. Preparation, teamwork, and fundamentally adaptability, because you never know what's going to hit you on any given day. And I think that that applies to IT as well.
100%. Now, when we talk about, Tennis Canada volunteering event that you were part of, did you ever, have come across with any famous tennis player in that particular volunteering event?
Oh yes, yes. So if there has been any one of the top players over the last 15 years, then chances are that I met them. Yes.
Okay, did you come across the likes of, Rafael Nadal, Novak
Yeah,
Djokovic, any? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Novak, Roger Federer, and the well on the women's side as well, Serena Williams, yeah, all of them, really. Yeah.
You are really pretty lucky, you just came across a
Yeah,
lot of
exactly.
people on the roster list.
Tennis,
Yeah.
yeah, tennis is a passion of mine, and
Okay.
I really, again, I mean, it's my way of giving back to the tennis community in that case.
Okay.
I really like to engage in that. I'm very fortunate to engage in that way. So yeah.
That's fantastic. I would like to share a secret. I'm also a trained tennis player, but I've not gone to any major tournaments. But I have played tennis, hands-on tennis kind of thing, and I
Okay,
love
when
playing.
next
Yes,
time
yes.
that or the first time that you visit Canada, then we call that a match. The happy hour after the match is on me. Okay.
Done deal. Fantastic. I'm my favorite, shot in tennis is backhand. I just love playing with backhand, and I just
Oh, your
enjoy that so
team
much.
single-handed or two-handed?
I mean, both. I mean, I can play forehand well, but backhand is something that I just enjoy the most.
Okay. Okay. Nice. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Tennis is something that has grown here in Canada quite significant.
Okay.
I think that it has to do with the fact that they have been very high ranked players. Canadian players, and we had Bianca Andreescu that won the U.S. Open, of course, and there have been some very good Canadian players that have been on, top 10, top 25 type of rank that increases the visibility. And plus, I mean, the tennis tournament here in Canada, and I'm gonna be bragging a little bit, but it's the third oldest in the world,
Oh,
after the U.S. Open and the British Open, right? It's just the third oldest tournament.
that's interesting. That's an interesting piece of trivia. Now, Louis, like, what is your view on being an IT professional in the age of AI?
Oh, so that's a very timely question, I will say. Akil, very good.
Yeah.
Um, I think that AI is not something that we can deny. It is reshaping the workplace in very profound ways, and I mean this in going deeper than the usual LLMs, or
Hmm.
the
Yep.
Copilot, ChatGPT,
Yes.
um, and Gemini. Machine learning in itself, it's
Yep.
bigger than that. LLMs and that we know are just a smaller portion of it. Uh, and I think that that doesn't necessarily take as much space as it should be taking, the machine learning aspect of it. And for us, for IT professionals, it means shifting from the technical execution of things to being smarter, right? Having a strategic orchestration, uh, learning to use AI to automate routine tasks, but also how we are using machine learning, for example, on our CM platforms, right? Analyzing trends. How can we create better insight for organizations, for our communities, for the impact, right? Beyond, again, I'm moving beyond the tools that are offered. And I was talking to some people already, to some organizations that are really looking at building their own LLMs, building their own machine learning capabilities, right? I think that that's the future. Beyond, again, the getting too excited with what ChatGPT can say or not say. I think that as IT professional, we need to be
Yeah. Yeah.
concerned on
Hmm.
how we handle that AI doesn't hallucinate.
Yes.
I I don't remember which tool I was using because I've been using the three of them, but one of them. I asked them, okay, what can you tell me about Luis Allegretti? And it went all fine, until I started hallucinating and saying that I have a huge impact on the Portuguese community in Toronto, and I'm not Portuguese, you know. So that's so how do we improve that? What learning how to stop those hallucinations on the AIs, on LLMs that organizations are using. I
Okay.
think that that's very critical. I think the challenge and opportunity for us as IT professionals, and we need to understand when I say IT professionals, our chosen profession is not at all when we compare to, for instance, doctors or lawyers that probably have hundreds, if not thousands of years of experience, or professionals that started mid 80s or early 90s, right? So
Hmm.
we're talking about a profession that is 30 plus years old, not that old, right? We're still kind of young as a profession, but every other professions depend on us, right?
Yep. That is
Because
true.
medicine, oh, every time that you hear about an advancement of medicine, it's because of technology, or
Yeah.
the engineering, new buildings is because of technology, right? So
Technology. Yep.
everything is related to us as an IT professional. So
That's
what
right.
we need to make sure is that we stay curious, ensure that AI is used responsible, and make sure that we understand the technology beneath And what I say is machine learning. We need to start understanding machine learning, build our own models of LLMs, how to talk to our
Mm.
data. There are wonderful organizations and companies that are enabling that. I've been meeting with them. It's possible, but that is again, I think that's our role and responsibility to serve both our communities, business, and society in general.
That's fantastic, Luis. Now, Luis, you just told me that everyone is going to have that capability of creating his own LLM. Have you thought about creating an LLM for that volunteering event that you were part of for Tennis Canada, perhaps?
That's a very interesting point. I've been toying around creating my own LLM. I didn't honestly do it for that particular event. Because I'm always studying on our industry. You probably know, and your listener will sympathize with this. There are always some interesting exam or test or certification that I want to take. And what I've been doing is creating my own LLM to actually mimic kind of like a test engine. So to test my own knowledge
Yep.
on certain subjects. So that's what I've
Okay.
been playing around. But I think that is a wonderful idea, to be quite honest, to do something with Tennis Canada.
Mhm.
I use that event because I'm kind of office bound. I'm always sitting in the office.
Mhm.
When I'm at that event, I'm outside, I'm outdoors, watching obviously tennis and interacting with a lot of people, right? Because the event attracts between 150,000 to 190,000 attendees per year per event, right? So interacting with a lot of people. Now, I think that I need to give some thought to that.
That's a good approach. I mean, and I'm really looking forward. And once you just, float that approach, you should just let me know. I'll be very much interested to, have a look at it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing, Luis. Now, Luis, before we actually, come to a close of our podcast session, let's take a lighter route in the form of a rapid fire round. All this while, I was, bombarding you with questions about your journey, about, the realms, the feeling of, working in a telecommunication sector, about Tennis Canada and all of that. So, the next rapid fire round is going to be talking about your likes and interests, nothing, related to technology or, those anecdotes that you shared about. So, are you ready with the first question of the rapid fire round, Luis?
Yeah, go on.
Fantastic. All right. So Luis, the first question to you: what is your favorite sports team?
I'm gonna say the Argentines soccer or football team.
All right. So, who's your favorite Argentinian player of all time?
Ooh, Messi.
Lionel Messi. Okay. Right. That's
Leo
pretty
Messi.
OG.
Yeah. Leo Messi. As a player, I did like Maradona as well as a player. Not as a with Messi, I like him as a player and as a person.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, I used to like Messi when he used to play for Barcelona, but when he left Barcelona, I don't know. It's a bit very difficult to
Yeah,
see
I
him.
know. Yeah, exactly. For me, it's kind of funny because I didn't follow that much when he was in Barcelona because and to be quite honest, I was really disappointed because I always will see the highlight reels of what he was doing in Barcelona and when he played with the national team. Yeah, nothing like that ever happened until later, right? Until later,
Mhm.
that kind of thing started to happen. So
That's fantastic. Recently, I think, let's say 6 months back, I actually connected with someone. He's also from Argentina, but he's actually based in New Zealand. And he's a person who's completely into this community building side. And his name is Mr. Chris Mazur. So he also told me, and he told me his favorite Argentinian football club is River Plate. So,
oh yeah, well I'm gonna get along with that guy. So you
okay.
you introduce us because yeah, I'm also from River Plate. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow. So do you have any fond memories of, attending your first match in a football stadium in Argentina?
um, yeah. A funny thing. I think that I may have been I don't know, probably 10, 11 years old.
Hmm.
Um, I'm originally from Argentina, but from the south region that is called the Patagonia. And River
Okay, yeah,
Plate,
yeah.
yeah, and River Plate, my team was visiting the city, and they were playing a friendly match with a local team. And now with a bunch of my friends, and we were supposed to be monitored by parents and so on. With a
Okay.
bunch of my friends, all from River Plate, went to see the game. But at some point we got lost on the queue
Oh,
on the entrance to the stadium, and we ended up on the wrong side.
oh God.
People that were cheering for the other team, and we were all wearing the River Plate jersey. But the
Oh God.
people were really friendly because it was a bunch of kids, right? It was kind of like a 15 of us,
Yeah.
all all there. And so, hey, what you doing here? And I go, oh. So that's my first experience being on the
Oh
wrong
God.
on the wrong side. On the wrong side. I mean, all we could see. Yeah, but how do? Anyways, and we
So,
got separated from the parents, from the adults that were supposed to be
oh God.
monitoring us
Yeah.
because they were probably as excited as us to be there.
Oh, this is a very funny anecdote, I would say. So, were the supporters of the opposition team from Boca Juniors, like the rivals team of River
Yeah.
Plate, by any
Yeah,
chance?
yeah. My wife is from Argentina too, and she's from Boca Juniors, and yeah,
Oh,
it's always very yeah. There is a very good rivalry between them, but I will say, I mean, we count whenever there is a match going on, but we all get together afterwards. That has always been the case. So
that's the beauty of sport, really, for sure. Now,
yeah.
I mean, since I'm Indian and I'm of the Indian origin, I'm pretty keen to ask you this. Like, what is your favorite Indian dish that you always like to try?
Oh, well, when I went to India,
Okay.
the chicken curry, the chicken barrel curry, yeah, that's amazing. And the best one that I ever had was this I went to New Delhi, and it was
Yeah, yeah.
this hotel that hosted Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, all the
Okay.
presidents that are visiting. They seem to always go there. I don't remember the name right now. It just escapes me. But wow, boy, the food was lovely.
I think I can come with the guess for that, for the name. I think it goes with the name of Moti Mahal restaurant.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Fill in the blanks, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's a very famous restaurant, and I've seen a couple of Indian videos, the YouTube videos where they talk about that restaurant, and that's one of the restaurants where all the biggest luminaries have visited. So that
yeah.
actually gave me the idea.
Yeah. No, and I saw the pictures of the presidents. It's kind of funny because they have them hanging on your way to the bathroom. But okay.
That's weird, actually.
I know.
Totally weird. So now, Louis, you told that, you're originally from Patagonia. So if I ever visit Patagonia, what is that place that I have to, visit for sure?
Oh, so Patagonia, yeah, it's a big place, eh? I will say you're gonna have to probably visit Bariloche.
Okay.
That's the ski town. But in the summer, it's actually lovely. It has a beautiful lake, mountains. It's the Andes nearby. It's really, really beautiful place. Kind of it doesn't matter what season you go. Well, either winter or summer, I will say. Not the in between seasons. It's beautiful, honestly. Food and the landscape that you can see there is really majestic.
Awesome. That's pretty interesting to know. Now, as I've heard, Spanish has different slangs, or let's say different dialects. In every
Oh
region,
yeah,
the Spanish
yeah,
keeps on
yeah,
changing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if I have to ask you, what is that famous Spanish word, that Argentinians mainly use? something that's friendly, not the the bad side of it. You know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. So we are known for in this Spanish speaking world, we are known for saying che,
Che, okay.
C-C-H-E, che.
Che,
And
okay.
that means you, really.
Okay.
And or sometimes it just doesn't have a meaning. It's kind of like the Canadian eh. At the end of you say something, eh? That's it's a, Canadian modism, really, and in Spanish is the che, and there are many others, to be quite honest, that makes it very particular. The Spanish in Argentina is really a blend of Italian with
Oh,
Spanish,
okay.
because Argentina's population, you're gonna find, I think that is 60 something percent of the
Oh,
population is from Italian descent. And there is obviously a huge mix of uh, of Italian in the Argentinian slang, the way we pronounce certain things and the way we nickname something. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, we have nickname for things in Argentina, not just for people, but
okay.
the all of those are from the time that the Italians were coming in mass drops, and so it's my last name is very Italian. My family
Yeah,
heritage
yeah, yeah.
it's
I felt
Italian.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, but coming from Italy, but Italy speaks Italian, right? So how did that influx go into Spanish? That's a huge curiosity
Well,
I have.
yeah, because the very first immigrant into Argentina were from Spain. Okay,
Hmm.
like many in Latin America.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
the latest, greatest immigration through the early 1900s, especially between the First and Second World War, were Italians. Uh, as I say, 60% outside of Italy, the largest concentration of Italians is Argentina. Uh,
Mhm.
the third one will be the US, and I think that in the US it doesn't even reach 8% of their
Oh God.
population. So
Hmm.
the it's kind of expected that the dialect, right, that it rises, it's heavily influenced by Italian words, right?
And that's pretty much interesting. That's an interesting piece of trivia. So the final question to you, Louis, like what was the first car that you have purchased?
Oh, my first car. Uh, eh, uh, oh, that I purchased, not that I drove. Because I was thinking that I drove.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I purchased. It was a Chrysler, a second-hand Chrysler Neon.
Neon. Okay.
I don't know if you know the model.
I am aware of the fact of the Chrysler, but not with the model of, the make of Neon. So
Yeah,
that's
it
pretty
was
much
a
new for me.
yeah, it was a clunker. To be quite honest, it was always leaking oil, and I will come to a stop. I will come to a stop, and the
Mm.
windows will start rolling on his on his own. It was a bit of a clunker, but it was the
Mm.
first car.
Yep, yep. Okay, then I'll add one more question to the, to the rapid fire round, the final question. So what was the last song that you have heard, pretty recently?
Oh, Wicked for Good.
Weekend for Good. Okay.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
artist is?
Ariana Grande, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the movies that are, yeah, the movies is out right now. It's very popular. My daughter loves it. She hears it all the time. So it kind of like a second-hand hearing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what passive hearing, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Pretty much good, pretty much fun. Yeah. All right, Louis, then thank you so much for, taking time from your busy schedule and, being part of my podcast initiative. It was really lovely collaborating with you and, getting those insights about, the IT world in Canada and, about your journey and, about the software licenses, how you have, cut by 60% and, the cloud security in that part of the world. So that was really lovely. And, I just love the trivia that you have shared, about Argentina and about all the other things. So it was a fun conversation throughout. So thank you so much again, Louis. And It was lovely.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite, and I wish you the very best. And really looking forward to what is it that you're gonna be doing next. And as I say, whenever you come to Toronto or go to Argentina, you have a friend that you can depend on it. Okay.
100%, 100%. It's a done deal, and I'll always approach you when I'm there for sure.
All right. Sounds good. Stay well.
Yeah,
Goodbye, everybody. Bye
yeah,
bye.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, all right, listeners. So, on this note, this is your host, Akhil Navluri, signing off. We would be back with another podcast episode with another eminent industry leader very soon. Till then, keep listening. Goodbye, stay tuned, and au revoir. Thank you.